Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of math tutorial. This week, we're going to really continue to build on what we had been working on in the past week. So we're going to be multiplying two-digit numbers using the standard algorithm and really adding our knowledge and practice with partial products. As I always say, it's critically important that your child really memorizes his or her multiplication facts. We're still finding that fourth graders struggle and aren't fluent. So please continue to encourage them and to practice with them. So here we have 74 times 26. We're going to start by using the area model, which is one strategy that our kids have been using, have seen, and are really becoming accustomed to. So I want to set up my area model, make sure that my numbers are labeled. So here we have 74, and then we have 26. So 70 times 20 is 1,400 or 1,400. This is one of the four partial products. And then we have 70 times 6, that's 420. Let's look over here in the ones place. We have 4 times 20, that gives us 80. And finally, 4 times 6, that is 24. So now we want to add these four partial products. As always, all of the digits need to be lined up, take up one space. And I said I like to number or to write my numbers down in order so that I can kind of see and make sure that this is making sense. Right, so once these partial products are added, we get 10, 12, we're going to regroup. We have 9, and finally 1. So we have 1,924. Now let's look at another problem where we are, of course, still multiplying, but now we're going to use the standard algorithm, which is what you're very familiar with, except the way that we've been doing it really is breaking down each part of the number by place value so that we can really see and understand where these numbers are coming from. So 38 times 95. If we start here with the ones place, we have 8 times 5. That gives us 40. Then we have 5 times 3, or really 30 since it is in the tens place. So 5 times 30, or 30 times 5, that's the same, right? Doesn't really change the product. We get 150. Now we have 9 or 90, since it is in the tens place. So 90 times 8, or 8 times 90. That gives us 720. And finally, in the tens place, we're working with 90 times 30, or 30 times 90. The values do not change, or the value does not change. 30 times 90, and that gives us 2,700. So here are our four partial products. And once we add them, okay, so we can do this, make sure we show all parts, all steps. Once we add our partial products, we get, this is 11, I believe, regrouping, 2 plus 7 is 9, 9 plus 7 is 16, so here's 6. We're regrouping once more in the thousands place. 1 plus 2 gives us 3. So here we have a product of 3,610. Now, for our last example or model here, we're going to look at a multi-step word problem, and multi-step means that there's more than one step. And these can be pretty tricky and not so straightforward. So it's really, really important to take our time when we're working with these sorts of problems. So a skyscraper has 62 floors. Of those floors, 58 have 39 offices and 4 have 26 offices. How many offices are in the skyscraper? There are a few different numbers here, a few different words here. So it's important that we kind of ask ourselves what's happening, what's the situation. There are 62 floors altogether. Of these floors, 58, so not all of the floors have 39 offices, but a part of them, so 58 of them do. So the immediate question, even though there's no question mark here, the immediate question that should come to us is, how many offices are on those 58 floors? So our first step in this is to multiply 58 by 39. This is going to tell us the number of offices on the 58 floors. So this is our kind of first step. So I want to make sure I label this. Now let's work it out. I'm going to do this the way that you as adults are probably used to solving this. So here we have 72, we're regrouping. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 7 is 52. Oops. So here's 52. And we're done with the ones place, so we can put a 0 here or an X, whatever, because the value doesn't change. Now in the tens place, we have 3 times 8, 24. So here's 4, 2. 3 times 5 is 15, plus this 2, 17. So this tells us that those 58 floors have, let's see, 2, 6, 2, we're regrouping, have 2,262 offices. I'll just make a note of that. So offices on the 58 floors. Okay, so the 58 floors have this many number of offices. We're not done solving the problem. We've just solved the part of it. There's another 4 floors that we need to figure out the number of offices for. So we're going to multiply. So here's our second step here. Let me go back here. We're now going to multiply, right, the 4 floors by the 26 offices. So 26 times 4. We have, let's go with the tens place. So 20 times 4 is 80. And then 6 times 4 is 24. So this tells us that on the 4 floors, right, or 4 of the 62 floors have 104 offices. So I'm going to make a note of that. So offices on 4 floors. It's so important to label and to be clear in everything that we write and do, because it's going to help us to get to where it is that we're trying to get. And now, right now, we're really answering that question. How many offices are in the skyscraper? This is saying how many offices are there all together in the whole building. So that signifies addition. So we're going to take our product from the first problem, or from the first part of the problem. And we're going to add that to the product from the second part of the problem, right? So those 4 floors or those 104 offices in order to figure out the total number of offices. And once we do that, we end up getting 2,366 offices altogether. Offices all together, right? So there we've answered the question, we've solved the question or the problem. And as always, I'm just going to reiterate because it is important to do so, but please make sure that your child is studying and really becoming fluent. It should come naturally. If a teacher says, or anyone really says 8 times 5, then 8 times 5 should be able to, then 8 times 5 should be able to be said, right, immediately. Use compatible numbers and rounding to help us. This is a great way to check, actually. We didn't do it too much here, but it's always a great way to check how close or far off you are from the actual answer. And use the strategy that works for you. We show you a lot of different ways, but we really want you to use what you're most comfortable with. And when solving word problems, make sure your work is organized, that you label and that you use the correct unit. In that problem, we were talking about offices, so the answer should say X number offices. And finally, always double check your work. I hope that this was useful, and I will see you in the next video.